we had 42% of them had increases.
This is the lowest quarter
Right.
of the entire student body.
The state says you have to have a 50% improvement.
Right.
And that is exactly what cost Milton High School a letter grade.
It was 42, and they had a 50% in math, but they had a 42% in reading.
And you know, this is where I have the heartburn here. A 42% increase. That's an increase. You know, and you're going to punish the school for this.
A school whose 72% of whose students are scoring
high achievers,
high on a math test.
Right.
They're going to punish them with a D rating. It's
right.
just ridiculous.
And
it's
just.
And they did the same thing to Hobbs a couple years ago, and it was the same thing, the same kind of statistics in the background, where they told them, well, now students get to be bused to another school, and of course the school has to pay for that busing to bus students to another school.
You know,
if they want to be.
And here's my point in why the FCAT scoring becomes a problem. You get your A rating, okay, and over 50% of your lower 25 make increases in reading. That's virtually impossible to get that 50% or more every year to maintain that grade level.
Exactly. That's the crux of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this system, it will crush you. Even the schools that hit the A will not be able to maintain this, and the overall school winds up getting punished for it.
Eventually, they will all become fail. It's a hyperbolic curve. They'll all become fail as they improve. As they improve, that's going to be what really pulls them down eventually, because they won't be able to make those tiny little incremental increases.
Absolutely. Well, you know, and
I think that's probably the ultimate goal, because then we can say, well, look how many schools are failing. Let's give out private school vouchers, and we have no more industry in the state. Let's take one of the few sources of public tax dollars that we know is going to be a constant, and let's start doling that money out to our friends in private industry.
It just, you know, and I want to go over the overall numbers. In Santa Rosa County, there were 22 A's, 3 B's, 1 C, and 1 D. Last year, there were 21 A's, 3 B's, and 3 C's. So, you know, overall, when you compare our school district to the state of Florida, you know, I think we did very well. Now, I always have to say this, and you've heard me say it before. Although I'm concerned about competition in the state of Florida, I think, and we talk about raising standards, this is where I think we're falling down on raising our standards. Sure, you know, I want my baseball team to beat everybody in the state of Florida, but every now and then I'm going to have to play somebody from Texas, Michigan, several other places. I really think that the state of Florida really needs to step it up, and the pressure needs to be applied. And how do we stack up 50 states? I've always been very concerned.
The problem with that is when you look at how these numbers are formed, and you look at what they're tested on in the FCAT, it becomes a meaningless comparison, and it becomes comparing meaningless numbers to meaningless numbers.
Well,
and nobody's stepping back and asking, well, are they learning anything?
Right. Well, you know, and another thing, and I was discussing it with our best boy before the show started. We have about 180 days of education in the United States of America. Japan is 245 to 250 days. You see, maybe we're not looking as closely as we need to, because we are competing on a worldwide basis now. And when other countries and other places on this planet put education at such a priority in their society,
yes,
it puts, and we're not doing any favors to our kids.
I agree.
You know, we're really not. When you look at is our engineering degree that someone gets in the United States of America, how does it stack up to other countries.
Oh, it stacks up wonderfully. The problem is the person who's getting it came from that other country.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the kid from our school wants to go get a business management degree, which is a whole lot easier, let's just say, to achieve.
Now, one thing, and before I get into some of these comments and some things that happened this week, I'm from the city of, the city of Milton is my city. I've lived here all my life. I want to say that Milton High School is not the only educational facility inside the city of Milton. Okay, and I think to the parents that are out there, I think they clearly understand that the kids start over here at the elementary school, and then they go to the middle school, and then they get to the high school. And I really think our leaders need to be focused at all the educational facilities in the.
You're talking about some remarks that were made.
Well, there were some remarks, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read this to you, and this came from the Pensacola News Journal. This was a quote, Carmen Page in one of her stories, and this was quoted by the mayor of the city of Milton. "I'm disappointed but not surprised," he said. "I don't believe we have seen the leadership that needs to be at Milton High School, and the community deserves better." Well, now I sent an email to the mayor and asked him to clarify some things there. I also, I kind of feel obligated to point out, to my knowledge, now I could be wrong here. I don't know that any city council members or the mayor have a degree in education. To be quite honest with you, over the last 7 years, I spent a lot of time at Milton High School. And the only time I see any of my elected officials up there is for political activities, or to come ask the band to march in a parade, or something that might help their political careers. I think it's safe to say that I haven't seen the city council or the mayor line up for math tutoring or reading tutoring. And I just, to come out with a shotgun blast like this, I'm just going to have to tell the mayor, I think you're out of line. Obviously, I wasn't I wasn't the only person who thought that the mayor was out of line. And these are a couple comments that came off the blog for the Pensacola News Journal. "I like Mr. Powell. I believe he's dealing with other issues at Milton High School. I do not for 1 second believe the D is his fault. I would look to the teachers who teach their opinion instead of the facts. I would look to student accountability. I think a better comment for Thompson to have made would be that we need to look at the teaching staff to see if changes or re-education needs to occur to ensure a better grade next year." Now that kind of falls into my feelings. It's not Milton High School. It's not an island of education inside the city of Milton. If our hearts are in the right place, if we really believe this, then we need, and I'm talking about me too, along with elected officials in our community, they need to be down there at the middle school seeing what they can personally do, not how they can get their name in the newspaper. They need to be down there personally with the reading book in their hand and volunteering their time and educating and asking other people to volunteer their time if their heart's in the right place.
I'm sure they'd welcome them.
Well,
I'm sure they would.
Absolutely, and I'm going to tell you, I sent an email to the superintendent, and he assured me that any kind of volunteerism is always welcomed in Santa Rosa County School. I mean, I've helped with the band, I've helped support, my thing has been the high school band. But there's many people that spend time up there.